Good morning, everybody. So let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me in the side chat so we can see you chatting there. The side chat should be to the right of your screen. Hi, Alma. Everyone, welcome to the new Fire Chat. I'm going to let Becky jump on in. Let's see how we do this. Invite you up. This worked pretty well.
It worked.
Good morning. I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, good. And no glare or anything like that?
Nope. So if everyone can leave us some chats on the side so we know you're all here and you know you're all ready to
Yay!
go. Season 2.
Our family's coming back into the room.
Oh my God, I missed you guys.
There's my honey.
Hey, Paul. Is he at Starbucks?
He's outside. He's a sweetheart. He's sitting outside so I wouldn't have an echo because he wanted to hear.
Bless his heart.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be talking wholesale today.
I
think we're about ready to go. We usually give it a minute or two so everybody can get in the room. Make sure you guys share this out, put it on your Facebook, comment on our post in the group and on our Facebook page. It helps us get our information out to those who need it. We really appreciate it. And today we're doing our classic 5 and 5.
Well, because we're new on Fire Talk, we should probably introduce ourselves a little, do you think?
You know what?
This is an awesome channel for us. This is a show.
It's been a while. Usually I get on and I'm like, hi, I'm Brandon with the eCommerce Show.
Brandon and I have done this show on Blab for a long time, but we've moved it over to Fire Talk. So this is a first for us.
Oh, really, Chris? That's awesome.
Good. So this is better.
Chris says the video quality's better. That's good.
And Laura heard us from the other room. Yay.
That's so good. Okay, well, tell them who you are.
Well, I'm Becky J. Anderson from BeckyJAnderson.com, and I have been in the product space for over 20 years, built 2 companies to multiple millions, and now I am consulting and coaching product-based entrepreneurs. How about you? Did I point the right way?
It's been so long since I've heard that. I don't know. For me, it went the opposite way. But you know how it works. Like I'm going the opposite way now, but I might be pointing at you for them.
On my screen,
right.
I showed you. Okay.
Well, I'm Brandon R. Wagner. I'm the CEO and founder of waxcrumbles.com, a company I started when I was 18. It's an anti-suicide candle company, and Becky has helped me blossom it from a DIY in my mom's like back porch dining room to like the kitchen table to like my own 1-bedroom studio apartment to now my own house, where half the house is dedicated to wax. And couldn't have been here without her. So I'm so excited to be starting season 2 for the first time in my new abode. And it will sort of in your new abode. You're not at your house right now.
I am actually in Las Vegas because I have been here
Tell them all
for the ASD show. And we're staying in a very nice house. Brandon's like, oh, I want to be there.
I was moving.
So I'm looking out at the pool and all of this fancy, you know. So we're staying with some friends at a really nice home.
I'm coming with you in January.
Yes, you are.
We're going to the ASD show.
We're also going to drag you off to the gift show and a few other shows.
Just put me in the car.
There's 7 shows going on in Las Vegas right now. I mean, this is like...
Are you going to all 7?
Well, we've popped in and out of several, and I'm not going to all 7. I've done what I needed to do here. I came here to help find clients some sales reps. I like to always check in and make sure I know what the trends are that are going on. And boy, do I have a list of trends from the show for those that have products and want to go, okay, am I headed in the right direction? I also have some tips to sell that I've picked up at this show. So just, and that's one of the things you just want to stay on top.
Becky Reloaded.
And that's why we do what we do. And I'm only 2 hours out of Vegas, so I don't like to miss these shows.
Alrighty, so everyone's here to learn about wholesale. So we usually talk about anywhere from the small kitchen table stuff to the really big. A lot of people don't know what the ASD show is. They don't know what wholesale is in general. We're talking about a lot of big stuff, but we kind of talk the full spectrum because I've started so small so recently. Becky has started so small in the beginning of her journey 20 years ago.
Yep. Started in the kitchen.
We're going to be talking from that perspective. Absolutely. So if you hear some things that don't make sense, don't be afraid to ask a question in the sidebar. You know, we don't want to lose you. ask us questions. So I'm going to let you go first because ladies first, and you can hit us with your first 5 and 5.
So we're talking about how to start selling wholesale. So I would say one of the first things that you want to do before you go wholesale is check your margins. Make sure.
I also think like you can't manage.
Right, you can't measure. Brandon laughs at all my Beckyisms. So you have to know your numbers. And in order to wholesale, you've got to be able to have the margin allowance in your products to be able to sell them wholesale. So the way it would work, whatever your retail price is, half of that needs to be your wholesale price. Now, I tell my clients, I like your cost to be 1/3 of that. So if something costs you $1, it can wholesale for $3 or less. It can wholesale for $3, retail for $6. Now, if you can get away with more than that, that's great. Sometimes 2.5 will work depending, but I'll tell you this. You will never lose money if you have a 3x to wholesale. So the first thing that I would say, my tip number 1 would be just know your numbers and make sure that your margins are there. And there's nothing wrong with raising your prices if you have to. Don't lower your prices, raise your prices to be able to make money. And that's the most important thing.
That goes right in hand with my number 2. So I'll just bring that up right now. And that is pricing at 50% so that you can be profitable. And what I mean by that is making sure if you're not making profit at the price you're at, and if you're not making that 3x, or you want more than 3x when you're wholesaling. So if you're, so my products, let's say they cost $1 to make, like you said, and you're going to wholesale them at $3 each for like 1,000 of them.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to raise that retail price to like $12 and wholesale them for $6 a piece if it makes sense, if the market will bear it. Don't be afraid to shoot above the market or aim for the top of the barrel, because that's what I did. My products weren't that great when I started.
Yeah. And one of the things you can do is just as you really niche down into the specific niches, it can give you a higher perceived value. So for example, I'm always using Paul's air fresheners as an example, but it's a perfect way to do it. So as he's narrowed down into the niches, some of these niches, he may have to have the price be a little bit more. So for example, the spray for the yoga mats, in order to have sales reps in that niche and pay them the commission, he's going to have to raise prices on that niche a little bit. See,
and that's some higher level stuff, but that's good stuff.
But it's okay because it's a label specifically just for yoga mats and yoga studios. And so because it's a specialized niche, he can raise the price a little bit to make that work. So it's like, don't walk away from the niche and don't lose money by not having a high enough price.
You have to add in that marketing budget.
You do.
So raise the price.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure that your numbers work. That's the number 1 tip. And Brandon and I kind of both made that our first one.
I know. Well, that was my number 2. I thought we like did this before where we were like, let's make sure we don't overlap, and then we overlapped.
We always wing it.
We always overlap. So my first one, my actual first one is really important because it held me back for a very long time. And if I could go back in time and just jump on this tip that I'm about to share really early on, I'd have a much bigger house by now. So that tip is starting before you're ready. And that's kind of a theme with a couple of my tips that we'll go through today, but starting before you're ready, figuring it out along the way. So like you said, that one time with the rain gutter. So when you were at your office desk and you just got an order for what, 10,000 bars of soap, and you don't make soap. You didn't make soap, you had little loaf pans.
Soap and loaves. Yeah, I didn't have
little tiny loaf pans, and you're like, I'm not pouring out 10,000 loaf pans. And what you did was you took the order anyway because you knew you could figure it out. So always do that. Take it anyway and figure it out. So, and you did figure it out. You started using rain gutters as really big loaves and just making like 100 bars at a time. And it was
exactly
easier.
It worked.
Everything is figure outable. So don't be afraid to just figure it out as you go. Take that order in. Money's the lifeblood of a business. So accept the money and figure it out.
So that leads me to my tip number 2, and that is make sure that you have your manufacturing or your production figured out before you go wholesale, because you need to be prepared. You are going to get some super big orders in comparison to the onesies, twosies that you get on your e-commerce website. So Brandon is the perfect example of that, and his Mr. Tin, the bigger tank. When I started work with Brandon, he was pouring on little hot plates in his bedroom.
Okay, first off, look, I had one 4-pound pitcher and a plug-in hot plate.
Now
I don't know how
what do you have? Now what do you have?
Now I have at least like a dozen 4-pound tin pitchers. I have at least 25, 30 4-piece loaf pans. I have a 200-pound wax tank that actually melts the wax down. I've got 150 pounds in there right now. And I've got a blending stick, and I've got like 5 different scales and 5 different locations with like 8 different stations for measuring out oils. I have at least like $100,000 worth of oils on my shelves and stuff. That's like 1 year progress.
Well, and the moral of the story is just make sure that you figure out how you can ramp up and kind of have it in your mind. So I kept telling Brandon,
don't think you're going to be where you're at forever.
You should be able to do your whole days, you know, what you're spending a week doing, you should be able to do that in a day if you have the right tools. And
when you're first starting out, oh yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what it was. It was like a week X for me.
Brandon's house does smell like what he's making, because I'll tell you that I know this because when we were in big production, when you turned the corner going towards the street our office was on, everyone in the neighborhood, all the office buildings and warehouses around us, they knew what fragrance we were pouring that day because you could smell it.
My production's smaller, and I have a couple air purifiers in that room, and I keep that room shut, and I store all the wax in a room inside of that room. It's a really big 10-foot closet, so I try to keep it all in there. My house is actually pretty scentless. It's great. I have air purifiers in here during the day, and then I melt wax specifically because I want to enjoy it too. I want to test it. But yeah, at my old place, if you pulled up near the garage and it was like a 3-car garage, everyone was like, oh, we know what he's making.
Yeah, and you know what? It gets even better than that. Back in the day when we were in big production and had the full staff, we had 260 employees at peak. But our doctor, our insurance paid for a specific chain of doctors. And so a huge amount of employees, including myself, use the same doctor. And it was kind of funny if you went to the doctor after you had been at work or during the day, left work to go to the doctor, and the doctor would walk in the room where you were, he'd go, "You're pouring sugar cookie today." I mean, literally, you can smell it on your person even if you're not pouring because you're there. So that was a hoot.
I walk into the clubhouse every morning. My clubhouse is right down here, and we have coffee there. And I go in, and they're like, "You smell so good, Brandon. Come here." And I'm like, "No."
That's what happens.
2 replies to the side. Everything is figured out. That's not my quote, actually. Everything is figure outable is by Marie Forleo. It's a fantastic quote. I have it in a frame. Then there's something else. My electric bill. Electric bill is a business expense portion of it.
Absolutely, it is.
And that Tin Man's actually not that at all bad on the electric.
Yeah, he's efficient.
I probably pay 25, 30 extra a month for him.
Yeah, considering what you get and what you're saving and what you're able to do. Because now you'll see Brandon on Facebook going, "I don't have anything to do. I have my orders done today."
That happens. It's wonderful.
I remember when you were going around the clock melting wax, trying to keep up.
Crying because I've been melting wax all day. Now it's just, oh, it's done. And I was sleeping. Like it all melts as I'm sleeping. I went to bed last night, poured 100 pounds in, went to bed.
Yep.
Like a crock pot.
Okay, so are we on the next tip?
The next one is yours or mine?
Mine.
Yours.
Okay, so have a line sheet with your products on. So as you're selling wholesale, you want to be able to have a sheet that will show the company name. It will show your product.
I did not want to do this.
You have to.
I did not want to do this for the longest time.
You have to do this to get orders because they can't read your mind and they need to know what you sell.
So much.
And so make sure you do it. And they're really easy to do. You don't have to spend a ton of money doing them. And you just need to have one. And you want to put the product on it. You want to put the company name. You want to put your item number if you have one. You want to put your wholesale cost and your suggested retail cost.
So mine's bare minimum.
You can go bare minimum if you want to keep it generic, but if you want to make it super simple so you don't get a lot of questions like, what's the retail? Is this price retail or wholesale or whatever? So if you're really specific and say, this is the wholesale, here's the suggested retail. Now, whoever buys it at wholesale, they can sell it at whatever they want. But you always suggest this is what most people, this is what most people will retail it for. And, you know, anybody that's buying at wholesale is going to want to make margin. Unless they don't want to make margin, but
I mean, mine's set up, it's a Google Doc. So mine's literally just a shareable document on Google. You can use Google Docs. It's a free tool. And it literally, the top page it talks about our suggested retail. It talks about our wholesale pricing for custom products, our minimums percent, our minimums per order, price cuts for size. And below that, it goes through all the cents and various descriptions. And we bold out the ones that are really hot at that exact time. And I update it every week or two.
Yeah.
And it works really great. It's bare minimums. It's not a line sheet. It's not what it should be soon enough, but it worked really, really good for a long amount of time. And I mean, obviously I'm sitting next to 2 huge wholesale orders right now, so it works.
Yes, it works. It clearly works. So what's your next tip, Brandon? That was my tip number 3.
So the Mystery Evolves asks, what does a margin mean?
Okay. A margin means you want to be able to make money. So basically, if something costs you $1, you're going to wholesale it for $3. You're going to retail it for $6. If you retail it for $5, you'll have a less gross margin. So you want to have, the double off your cost so that you can.
It's subtraction.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just a percentage.
You're selling it for $6 and it costs $1, you've margined $5.
Because this is another thing that I'll tell you over and over and over again. At the end of the day, the people that buy your products, all they care about 3 things: sales, gross margin, inventory turns. They want to make sure they make money. That's why they're buying your product. That's why they're in business. So they want to make sure that product turns. They want to make sure they're making margin, and they want to make sure they don't sit on that product. They want it to fly off the shelf.
Which goes into my other one. It's a bonus one. You told me to add, actually.
Okay. So sales, it's gross margin and turns. Go ahead.
Oceaning.
Yes.
It's the blue oceaning one you told me to add.
Mm-hmm.
So blue oceaning is like my big secret weapon, because they, like she said, really think about that. They only care about getting the product on the shelf and then off the shelf.
Right. They want to
is your product going to fly off the shelf? If it's not, it might need better packaging.
Yeah.
It might need better pricing. It might need to be better. Your product needs to fly off the shelf. Hiring a designer, things like that are going to get that done, especially for wholesale.
Yeah. And that's really what they care about. And the retailers, they are in the job they want to make money. That's basically bottom line. They're in the
Tony Robbins all the time. Success leaves clues.
Success leaves clues.
So look at what they buy now, see which things are doing really well, and then see which little tactics, which types of designs, which types of feels and looks and vibes and trends you can kind of follow on. It doesn't have to be graphic design either. It's not always graphic design. Sometimes it's an easy print off and then some hand lettering for specially handmade small businesses. But just take a lot of time to get it off the shelf. Challenge yourself.
And here's the thing too. Those retailers, the bigger that the stores get, so for example, if they have multiple stores or big chains, those buyers, they get bonused and they get their raises according to how they buy. So they're highly incentivized to buy stuff that's going to fly off the shelf. And then if they have inventory that sits on the shelf that they don't get moved, then they get docked when review time comes, because they'll say, we didn't make gross margin in your department, because they have to have a specific gross margin. That is what the rules of their store are. So they'll say, we buy it with, the double mark, but after we do all of our advertising and all that kind of stuff, they usually have to have 30 plus points gross margin, net after all expenses.
Which
so
is
those
why,
buyers are held in really high, they have to do that. So they care about 3 things: sales, gross margin, inventory turns. So if they buy something and it sits on the shelves, they're measured according sales per square inch, the bigger they get. Now, when I owned my retail stores, I always tried to figure out what are my average sales per day, per week, per month, per year, sales per square foot. So if I had 1,000 square foot store, I would divide, what it was. So I could say, okay, what are they? And you're always challenging yourself to say, I want to get more sales per square foot. Well, the bigger those stores are, it becomes sales per square inch. So literally in the candle department, it's like if 1 or 2 SKUs are not performing, gone. So you're always having to watch new, old, moving them out. So you just want to make sure that your inventory is turning.
And to filter on that, that's the big, scary end game stuff that we all eventually want to get to. Kohl's, like you said all the time, they need 75 points. And points is like if you're selling 50% off what you would sell it to for wholesale, that's 50 points. If you're selling it 75% off what you would normally sell it for wholesale, that's 75 points. Big companies need that kind of stuff. And that's the big scary end game stuff. And it's really good to just hear that, to know that, to let it sink in, because it'll become your normal as you move through small wholesales into the big stuff. Because now I'm like, Cole's, bring it on. You know, I've heard this 1,000 times. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. But your typical handmade item with a normal retail store would want 50 points gross margin. They want to be able to take it, double it, and sell it. And they may want to have a little bit of extra in case they have to pay higher freight. So I've seen them add 10%, whatever they buy it for, they'll add 10% to their retail cost to cover their freight. I see that a lot. And that's okay. They can retail it for what they want.
Right. Unless you contracted in, but you shouldn't. You should let them go wild because they need to sell it.
Yeah. You want to incentivize them to really go for it.
Okay. And at the end of the show, we will do a wrap up. We will go through all the things just one more time in a short summary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So next one is mine. Next one is mine. So mine is in that theme of starting before you're ready, and it's hire before you're ready. Holy crap. So everyone's really scared to hire. Like, oh my God, there's taxes and there's payroll. No, there's not. You don't need to do that off the bat. Chill. I hired an accountant. She set up payroll for me, and that was way down the line. I'd already spent thousands on employment, and they, you know, there was no tax involved, all that kind of stuff, because I was a small business. I'm getting started. You know, the country wants you to succeed. They're not going to punish you like your big fears might think. You can Google that stuff and search in it. We'll do an episode on taxes, but just to kill fears, don't be afraid to hire for that reason. So for me, another big fear was hiring and not being able to have them over enough. I was like, well, what if sales go down? What am I going to do? They don't care. Teenagers. Hire a teenager from a school, $8 an hour. They just want to come in and make money whenever they can. You know, they want it to fit into their schedule anyway, because, you know, they're center of the universe right now. So hiring before you're ready. So what I did was 1 day a week was my goal. I'll have them over 1 day a week. I paid them $8 an hour, and I wanted to have them 4 hours for that day. That was just my starter. And it worked for a long time. And some days of those weeks I would skip because there wasn't stuff to do. That very minimal stuff, get that really mundane stuff out of the way so that you can work on getting the sales in. At the end of the day, at the end of these months that are going on, you should become the CEO that's just focusing on getting sales in the door, and then eventually getting sales reps in the door to get sales in the door.
I remember telling you, going, Brandon, you have to wear your CEO hat.
Look at me now.
No, Brandon is so right on that hiring before you're ready. Let me give you a perfect example. So we're here in Las Vegas for the show. For those of you that are tuning in late, we're staying with some friends. The friends are in the this kind of space as well, you know, the product space. So they are going to private label one of Paul's products and niche it down. And so they're starting from scratch. They're going to private label. They're going to have to raise the price just a little bit to make the margin. But what they're going to do, they laid out their map. They're going to do a Shopify store. They're going to get their social media channels set up. They're going to get their pricing, their labels. And so they've kind of laid out the map. And they don't have any employees. They haven't even made any money yet. But they brought a girl over that we interviewed last night and helped them work out a deal with her where she's going to do that for them for a percentage of the sales. So see, it's just be creative on how you hire those people. So I've seen it done also, trade for product if you just need help in the short term. So you do the things that are important to the business and the things that you can outsource that will take up your time, that's more the minutia stuff. Go ahead and hire like Brandon did and like our friends did.
My first time hiring somebody was like it was my stepmom. It was a couple friends. We had a wax party, and I just sent everyone home with wax. Nobody got paid. Everyone sent home with wax. Everyone got to smell the fun things. It was a small little fun way to get started in that. And for me to go, oh my goodness, I don't actually have to do everything in this business.
Right.
Good eye opener.
So it's get creative. You don't always have to have a paycheck and all that kind of stuff. Just get creative on how you can get some help to get more production and get it ready.
And do your numbers for production. That's a really big, scary thing. So take an hour to make products and then cut 25% off of that, and then pretend that's an hour of how much you made, and then turn that into, you know, how much they're working, and then see how much money that makes. And then you can look at the money you're making versus your spending. And that's like a really big, helpful thing for me.
Well, and then you get creative on how you do it. So, for example, here we are talking about Paul again. We're at the Las Vegas show. He didn't want to have to worry about not having his order shipped. So the back of his SUV is full of his inventory. We've been driving it around all over Vegas, and every day he gets his orders and he just slaps a label on. So they're already in the case packs, and they're already
hustle, Paul. Hustle.
We do what we have to do to make it work, right?
Next time you have to bring a trailer full of stuff.
No, next time he'll have an employee doing it there.
Hire before you're ready, Paul.
Yeah.
So the next one's definitely yours.
Okay. So I would say pick what stores you want to sell to and target them. So if you're brand new and you haven't sold wholesale yet, I mean, like I've had several clients say, can I just walk into, say, a yoga shop and sell my stuff? Or can I just walk into a gift store? Absolutely.
Who's stopping you?
Walk in and ask for the buyer and give them your line sheet and say, hey, I have this product that would go great. In fact, it would look great on your shelf just right here. Why don't we put you in order?
For them to find good suppliers. It is work. So if you do that work for them,
Yeah. And then you can, especially if it's close and you start easy, you can go in and see how it's selling. Are you getting those sales?
They love
yes. They love that. And then you can also go, oh, you're getting kind of low. Can I do a reorder for you here? So it's just that easy. Just walk in and ask. Now the bigger
I've fallen in love with doing that.
Yeah.
It's so much it's like an 80% turnaround versus like maybe 1 or 2% people who reply back when you're emailing and cold emailing. When I walk in and I introduce myself, and you got to be very you have to become a sales rep. You have to become very friendly. You have to make that likability happen.
Right.
And it works wonderfully for me. You know, I have things fly. I come in, I show them my little line sheet that I talked about, the Google Doc that I just print out. I bring samples, I bring cards, I give them to them. And I'm like, if you want to make an order, we can do it now or tomorrow. I'll call back. I'll come back. Like, say that. I will come back.
And you can. And the thing is, you want to remember, they're not going to bite your head off. They're not going to chase you out of the store.
Right.
These are people who want to make money, and they are looking for products that will sell. And so they want. And I know, as I was calling on buyers, the buyers are told, do not turn down meetings, do not turn down new. Look at the new always, because we have to stay innovative. We have to know what's going on. We have to know what's out there. And so they will be happy you did it. Don't be embarrassed. Just give them
small people, especially. You know, there's small businesses. There's a small gift shop around the corner for me that hires special needs kids to work in the shop. It's wonderful.
Right.
And I've become really close with the guy. I go in, and every time I go in, he places an order. And I always buy something, but he always places an order.
Yeah, and it's the way to do it. And so you can just start so easy, start close to home, and don't be afraid to ask for the order. Just don't be afraid. Yeah. Be proud of your product, right?
Damn right.
Yeah.
Oh, and that reached in with one of mine, which is why I circled it. That reached in with one of mine. It's another tip you taught me. It's so what you told me to do is you were like, well, find some people in your niche. And I was like, so there's this lip balm company that my people could buy from them too. They're small, but they're like, they're big. And you were like, okay, visit their site. Do they have a where to find us page? And I was like, yes. She was like, reach out to all of the stores that carry their product. Mind blowing.
It's brilliant.
Especially when it's out of the direct market. And even if I was doing it, I'm a candle company. If I was doing it to other candle companies, I'm not stealing from that candle company by going to the same exact distributor.
Nope. You're using the blue ocean strategy because you have your own brand, you have your own story.
My product is mine. Their product is theirs.
Just smart marketing and figuring out what are some accounts I can sell to. So you'd go to somebody that would list those. They even put the addresses. You could mail your line sheet to all.
Absolutely.
You could mail.
You walk in.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yep. So here's a perfect example, Brandon. The company Poopery. I know they list all of their vendors on their website. You go look and go, where can I buy this in California? Where can I buy this in Nevada? Where can I buy this in Utah? And it will list all the retail stores. Now you're going to have names of retail stores and the addresses that you could mail a flyer to because you're kind of in that same space.
I didn't know they did that. Poopery.
Free tip. Free tip.
You can use that as an example. Everyone go to Poopery.
This is how you build your business. Get creative.
I love that because some people look at that, they're like, isn't that horrible? No, this is how you build your business.
It's smart marketing. You're not stealing their business. They're giving you free information and it's open to the public. So if you want to turn it down and go slow, go ahead. But there you go. There's probably hundreds of customers that you could mail your flyer to and their addresses, and you don't have to do the work.
Right. And you can hire somebody to do that at VA. So since it's half of the show, I want to remind everyone to please go to our Facebook group and to comment on our posts and to share this out with everyone to make sure that this information gets to the right hands and that those who need it can find it. We want everyone to succeed. So share with someone who you want to succeed. We'd really appreciate it, as it would help our season 2 blossom and flourish.
Exactly. And
I just posted that link.
We'll bring more good free advice. Now, why did I just get an echo?
We're going to pretend you didn't. I hope it goes away. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
So the next one's yours.
My next one is stay up on top of trends. Okay, I have a bad echo. It's got to be, is it your mic? Okay. No, I don't like not hearing you. Okay, my next one is stay on top of trends. That's one of the reasons why we're here at the trade show, to see what trends are going on. So Brandon, you got to turn your mic on a little bit. I want to know if you want to know some of the trends that I have seen at this show.
You need me to turn the mic on to tell you that, really?
I like hearing you.
Funny.
I feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, the echo's gone. So whatever you did with your mic.
I'll just reset the mute every time.
Okay, so the trends are important so that you're designing and developing products and being aware of what's selling so that you can kind of watch. So some of the big highlights, the trends that we've seen at this show. Trend number 1, bundles. People are taking their product and putting it in bundles. And it's one that we have talked about at the show a lot. It's like, if you sell this, this, and this, put it in a bundle so that you have a higher gross margin. Trend number 2, I'm seeing at the show, and I put it in the Facebook group, the emojis. That is a trend that is not going away, and it is on everything.
And you don't need to make a product that is emoji, but if you go online, when people share Lush products a lot on their Instagram feed, you see they actually put emojis on top of the image to make it fun and in them. They want to make it them. So, and I want to make a clarification, since I'm young and I'm hip. Emoji does not just mean the smiley faces, the generic smiley faces. There's also all those Facebook stickers that people are really acquainted with, the Snapchat stickers. So those you can usually find online in PDF and then use them. You can hire a graphic designer or something like that. But really useful information.
Yeah, so as you're watching the show, there's some specific trends that will stand out. And you'll see that they either have a long life or they have a short life. Well, the emoji trend is one that's predicted to stay here long term. So trend number 3 that I'm seeing that's really big is the wine and booze humor. So for example, there is a candle company that's called Rewind, and they're pouring their candles in the bottom of a wine glass, or the wine bottle. They've cut them off. Yeah, I love that. There's also little signs that will have humor on. There was a sign that said, "Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder." So there's a lot of that wine, booze, humor, and things. So I think that's a category that you're going to.
I should work on that. I need to have a new line.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that through 2016 and 2017. There's another one that I saw. It said, "If you're not drinking alone if the cat's home." So that was on wine glasses. You're not drinking alone if the cat's home. So basically, I
love that you wrote these down.
Because I'm watching trends, and I have clients ask, what are the trends that I should be designing my products around? Okay, the trend number 4, socks. Who would have thought socks?
I would have thought. Do you know how many pairs of socks I own? Last night I was wearing ones that went up to almost half my knee, and they had raccoons on them.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. They're not just socks. I would call the trend socks sell, because they have emojis. There we go again. I saw emojis all over socks. There could be, if somebody wanted to do a website on just socks and get really creative and run a ton of ads to it, you could probably make a ton of money on socks. So I saw emojis. I saw Argyle. I saw a crazy sock trend with the prints. I saw cats. I saw nautical. I saw unicorns. I saw hearts. I saw food. I saw more emojis. I saw funky patterns. Socks are freaking selling right now, and people are wearing crazy socks, and it sounds like Brandon is one of them.
I got jellyfish socks.
Okay, there you go. Trend number
lumberjack
5.
socks, like it doesn't end.
Trend number 5 that I saw, licensed goods. You see your superhero aprons, you see your Batman ice cubes, you're seeing the Minion toys, you're seeing Lego, anything. And trend number 6, I would call it the hot sauce trend. So hot trends, food inspired. Anything food inspired. You're seeing inflatable candy, you're seeing toy lollipops, you're seeing anything with donuts and cookies and ice cream. So food related products. So as you're designing your products, tie food into them some way, because that is one of the top 6 trends at the show, which means that is going to run through 2016 and into and through the end of 2017. I can guarantee you that food trend is not going away.
I'm thinking of all the blow up donuts that we have in the pool and all the blow up watermelon slices and stuff. It's used blow up. Someone just walked by my house earlier today with the blow up ice cream sandwich, because the pool's right here.
Yeah. But you didn't used to see that. It was just the inner tube. So now that is a food.
I got a donut blow up. I got a donut one from Target, $20.
Yeah. So that's a food trend that is going into the product space. So then what I would do if I owned a product business, I would say, what are those 6 trends? How can I tie that into my product? Now, I don't necessarily have to sell food, but whatever I sell, can I tie food into it? I don't necessarily have to sell socks.
I need to get that donut line out.
But if I want to, yeah, so take that and somehow go, and can you tie wine or beer or liquor or something like that, that humor into your product? So you don't have to sell wine or beer. You just tie a saying or something into your produof. But bottom line,
get creative.
If you have some trend items, I wouldn't do your whole line around trends. I would do 20% of your line around trends. You want to have 80% of your line be every day, but 20% trends, they're going to sell. And that's how you're going to get that hot, fast
I want to mention something.
Yeah.
Because I kicked ass with a trend, and it went from, for almost a year straight, my #1 best-selling product was a scent called Bedtime Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
It was it.
Yeah.
This past 2 months, we made a new scent, and it has become my most sold product by double. It has went viral. It has been shared on different websites like Yes This Things Exists and things like that. Pinterest, it's huge. And it's my gummy bear candle and my gummy bear wax crumbles. These are actual gummy bears, but I have them right next to my desk. Gummy bear candles and wax crumbles and melts and stuff like that. We went viral for it. Candy's going really viral right now. And it's really good for us because my whole brand is around candy.
Yeah. So Laura asked a really good question. And Brandon, I've put you through the ringer on this, on watching trends. So she says, is there any tips on discovering the trends before the trade shows?
Yes.
I spend a huge amount of time studying trends, because that's how, the reason the trends are so important too, those buyers are given the trends and they're like, look for themes around these trends. So they are looking.
That's what they'll buy. They will buy the trend things that they've been sent.
Yeah. So what happens is the trends start typically in fashion, and then they trickle on down into tabletop and home decor. So I spend a lot of time walking the European and Chinese trade shows looking for, but the way you could do it here without doing that, you could watch the fashion shows or fashion week, see what kind of prints,
a lot of people that live in the UK.
Right. See what kind of prints and patterns are on the runway. And that's the same prints that you're going to be able to see in packaging. You're going to see it in product design. You're going to see those colors, those, like you see when you were seeing the leopard print on the runway, all of a sudden 6 months later, a year later, you're seeing leopard print gift boxes all over the mall and everywhere. And so that's one of the things I spent with Brandon going, okay, look, here's a trend. Now go make some labels around that trend. And
I would look at fashion shows. I would look at the pictures. I'd see the spring fashion. I'd see winter fashion. I'd pull it all up, and I'd be designing my labels. That's how I got my new label designs.
Yeah, and watch pop culture. I mean, I kid you not. What are the stars doing? What movies are out? Like, movies can dictate. You know, the Batman movie or the different movies that come out, they will dictate a lot of what you're going to see in retail. I remember when the vampire movie was out. What was the name of those? I never got into those, but my
Twilight, True Blood, all of that stuff.
What was the series? It was the Twilight. Yeah, Twilight. So that trend brought black fingernail polish. All the girls started dyeing their hair black. It brought big eyeliner. It brought dark black and white packaging into candles, into home decor. It brought all that kind of stuff. So you just kind of keep your eye out on what's a really hot movie and how is that trickling down into products. Now, you don't have the license on Twilight series, so you can't do that, but you can get creative on how you can take what you see and bring that in, because guaranteed the colors, the prints, the patterns, the things from it.
Remember that the people are watching the Twilight movie that are going to be buying this stuff. They're not going, I want everything to be Twilight. They're going, I love that lifestyle.
Right.
I want to make my lifestyle like that. So if you can sell something that can go to that lifestyle, if they want like a golden black Starbucks cup, you know, Starbucks going to start selling some gold and black Starbucks cups.
They will. But one of the other things I would do too is I would subscribe to Pantone. I would follow them on Facebook. I would follow them on Instagram. I would watch what Pantone does. They come out every single year and they say there's going to be a Pantone color of the year this year. And then you're going to see products designed around it. However, I got to the point I was watching the European trends so much. In the office with my employees, I had a board, and we started in July, and we would put the color we thought Pantone would be based on the trends we were seeing. So they announce in December. So in December of this year, they're going to announce, here's the trends for 2017. And that's what the colors, you'll start to see them all. Now this 2016, last December, they announced the Pantone was pink and blue. So if you notice at retail, you are seeing so much baby blue and baby pink. It's almost like baby boy, baby girl.
Instagram's a good place to watch trends.
Yes, yes. There's another website I like to follow. I told Brandon about it. It's called The Trend Curve. She charges for her trend things, but she puts a lot out free you can watch or that you can get, but she walks all the European trade shows and reports back. There's lots of trend forecasting, Google trend forecasting. Oh yeah, Downton Abbey was another big one I'm seeing in the notes. There's so much at retail because of that.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, yeah. The shows that are over, you'll start to see it die off. But yeah, there's a lot of that. So anyway, that's my little rant about trends and how to watch them. And Brandon's
that's one of the most important parts, even for Handmade.
Yeah, it is.
Because on Etsy's one of the most trend desperate websites. That's all they share. And if you can get Etsy to share your stuff and to do the free marketing for you, you're set. So even with Etsy, make your products around that stuff. So if you're making soap, if you made a strawberry soap, stop. It's not a strawberry soap. It's a strawberry jam donut soap. You change that up now.
Okay, but on your product line, make sure 80% of your product line is your everyday core that everybody would want every day. Only do 20% of your product line trend.
But when you're small, don't be afraid to just do anything and test stuff and then change it up if it doesn't work.
Yeah, true. So what was your next one, Brandon, before we go into your success story on your wholesale story, what you've done this year?
I got more.
Let's hear it.
You made me, you inspired me when we were on a private call. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one too. So one of them is with opening orders. So when you're first starting to talk to people with wholesale, open order deals. So for me, I offer half off shipping until a certain set date. So I just offered somebody, I was like, hey, so if you place your order for the 15th of this month, we'll give you half off shipping for your opening order. This is just an opening order is their first wholesale order. So they'll be ordering 1,500 bags from me and I offer them half off shipping. That's domestic. So I only actually do that for inside the United States. And then for people that are like in the UK and stuff, I do different stuff. I'll give them an extra box of wax or something. Mm-hmm. The other one was my biggest one because wholesale didn't kick off until this freaking tip. It blew my mind.
Okay.
So I had a menu, and the menu had home, it had shop, it had about, and it had contact, and it had blog. What I did was change the contact to help and wholesale. So people would click it, and that contact page would have information like, here you can contact for help, or if you need wholesale. And then I would write some helpful information like, write out to us. We do customs. We do this. We do that. Write to us. And I get at least 2 or 3 a day. And if I don't, it's weird. And I reply to them all, and I've got it down. I do it on mobile. I take orders on mobile all the time. It's great. I can go outside and make $5,000 before I come home. It's awesome.
See, you already have the no. So you just have to tell them you do it so they can.
I was worried. I was like, but what about my retail people? Won't that be so weird, them seeing wholesale? Well, now wholesale is 80% of my business. So
guess what?
It's not weird.
Your retail people know you're getting bigger and more important and more significant.
They don't
if you do wholesale. They don't. People worry too much about that. People worry too much about that. No, you can't worry about that.
And my last one was wholesalers see money differently than you do. Here's my first story about wholesale. I never told you this one. So this person reached out to us and they were in New Zealand and they wanted to buy some wax from us, and I forgot what it was. It was $10,000 worth of product. We wrote back and forth, and I never invoiced them because I was scared. I was like, that's too much. That's petrifying. I can't, it's a scam. It's got to be a scam. They can't do that. Just because I had a bad mindset about money doesn't mean they did. If they've got $10,000 and they want my schnitzel, I need to give them my schnitzel.
Yeah, you do.
So that's my first wholesale story about how I lost $10,000, but I never told you that one.
I would have kicked your butt. That's probably why you didn't.
It's so funny. Oh my God. Well, I was friends with particular people back then who told me it's a scam. Nope, don't do it. Don't do it.
You get the money, wait.
But don't be afraid of big numbers. Now I'm so nonchalant. My emails are so short. A lot of times I just link them to the Google Doc. It's a bit.ly in my phone. And then I go, well, here's the, pricing for that. If you'd like me to send you an invoice, let me know. And if they don't reply, I hit them at least 2 more times, the next day once, and then another week away. And they almost always reply, and I almost always invoice them. And then if they don't do that, I do another one the next day, and then I do another one in a week. And I always get the invoice.
That's good. That's
Easy
good.
peasy.
So Brandon, do you want to tell us about how your retail's gone the past year, since you were the star pupil who a year ago wasn't doing retail or wholesale?
So when I first met Becky, I was like, oh my God, there's this big candle lady and she wants to talk to me. And we had our first conversation, and the whole conversation was like an hour long, and it was nothing but, you need to get into wholesale. Stop wasting your time. And I was like, that's scary though. And why would I sell my product for half off at $3 each when I could sell them at $6 each to my people? Becky, I don't know if you know how to do math. I don't know.
That's exactly what he told me.
Oh my God. And now
I'm like, don't be stupid, kid.
I know, that's all there is to it. Don't be stupid. And remember to share this out as we're going through it, because I'm sure we got a bit more things to share about the show. It'll only be 90 minutes, so we'll of course cut it off, but go ahead and share it out a little bit more. So I was on call with you, and I didn't know you yet. And we were talking about wholesale, and at that time I was making maybe $3,000 a month. I knew that was my peak. And I was like, I'm making $3,000 a month. I was like 2 to 3. And I was barely getting by because you have to pay all the supply costs and stuff like that. It was hell. And I was making it all with retail. I was retailing it all out. And more importantly, I was doing all the work. I had one person who came in like once a week. That was back then. And I started accepting wholesale. So what I did is I put wholesale just in my Instagram description. I started off by putting it there. And then before you know it, I would start getting people. And it was like maybe once or twice a month.
Yep.
And my first wholesale order was from someone who watches the show. You know who you are. And I was really excited about that. It was the 1st of January. And I was like, this year is going to be my wholesale year. I was right. It was definitely my wholesale year. Mm-hmm. And basically what I did at Jump the Hoop is I put it in my menu. I put it, in my emails. I put it in my Instagram. I put it in my Facebook group. I had a spot open, so I'll keep a little schedule on what we can do. And I had a week open where I could do another order before I moved. I put it into my Facebook group. I was like, hey, we got a spot open for wholesale if anyone wants it. My Facebook group, all my intimate people who buy my stuff are there. That's something I would have never done, but I grew the balls and I just put it in there, and that order filled up, and there was an extra $1,000 in my month. Who doesn't want an extra $1,000 in a month?
Everybody wants an extra.
So now,
what are you doing now? That's the question they want to know.
Now I think we sold something like 1,000 plus bags today, and every 1,000 bags we do is $3,000 in my pocket. Mm-hmm. Not in my pocket, it's in my account, and then we go ahead and put 200, maybe 150 into working, so labor, which isn't much. 150 to 200 for labor for 1,000 bags, $3,000 is not much at all. Think about it. It's amazing. And that's at wholesale. At retail, it's even better. It's less than half. And then and they do labeling, they do everything. It's wonderful. And then there's of course the 100 to like 300, depending on where it's going, for shipping that big box. And that's pretty much it. I pay myself a little bit too, but then there's just like $2,000, $2,500 left. Mm-hmm. I tuck 1,000 of it, or maybe 500 to 1,000 of it for tax, put it in a private savings account, which you should always do. Start early. And then the rest of it, I buy puppies with.
or more product.
Yeah, a lot of the times I stuff half of it right back into when I get a really big order like that, because that's a large order. I'll order like 5-10 cases of raw material. I'll do a big order of oil. I like to be 2 months is my rule ahead on material for what we usually make in a month.
Smart, so you don't run out.
But then the rest of it I can pocket. I can save for a house, or I can save for the business, or I can save for you know, opening a retail location, you know, pocket it for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's smart. So that's good. So aren't you glad you went into wholesale?
That's a good question. So minimum wholesale order, because I was like, I don't want to do, like, should it be 1,000? I don't know. And you're like, no, it doesn't have to be that high.
$100.
You said $100, and I made it 300. So I made it 100 bags you had to order. So it was $300. Because with me, for my retail people order $100 all the time, and I didn't want them ordering wholesale. So that's what I did. So it's a minimum of 100 bags.
If you're starting small, you don't want to make it too big, but you want to make it big enough that they have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
So the people that buy it, you want them to be able to have enough they can make a statement or show it in their stores. And I found that if they have a statement, it tends to do better.
Laura asks if I got a new UPS person when I moved. No, because I can see my old house from here. I just moved across the lake, so I still have the same handsome USPS person I'm always talking about. Same UPS person. They walked up. Actually, it was hilarious. They walked up, and he was like, "Dude, did you move?"
Yeah.
Supply cost for a 3K order.
Easy to figure out. Easy to figure out. So divide it by
about 500.
Yeah. Well, that's a wholesale order. So yeah, divide it by 3. Brandon's getting much better than a 3X.
I'm getting like 6X.
Yeah.
So it's like 46 cents per bag to make. That's rounded up 45 cents, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good X. See, I raised my X. I wanted to make more than just getting by.
And it's okay to make fast. It's okay to make more. We're just saying that
it's okay to make more.
You're all in the business to make money. Is that not why you're in business?
Oh yeah. Money is business. Do you offer custom packaging or bulk for repackaging? Yes. So what we do is I used to be 40 bags instead of 20 bags per cent for customs. And now it's actually, and it's great. That's what one of these recent orders from today was. It was for customs. It's 120 bags per custom. So I had 4 custom cents today. So, and then I supply the label, and that's why I bumped it up so much, because I was like, I want to make these custom labels so hot and sexy that I take my time, and my time's pricey. So I bumped it up a little bit, and we offer the free labeling and all that. And now, since it's so high, we also offer to take our website off and put theirs on. So yeah, we do that, and everyone should do that if you can.
That's another thing people are afraid to do that I told Brandon. It's like, who cares?
Oh, that's right.
Who cares? You want to sell.
I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do custom stuff. My brand is too important, and I don't want to lose that. And Becky was like, people that want customs are serving people that you wouldn't normally ever serve. They are reaching people that you would never reach, and you're making money at it. And I was like, what? It's my website.
That was it. I'm like, bam, bam, take the order, kid.
I started taking the orders. It works. There's lots of money to be made. So don't be scared of that stuff. White label, private labeling. It's so.
Brandon, a percentage of your business is private label, isn't it?
Oh yeah. A huge percent, maybe 20%. Then like there's a 40%, 50% that's all like just everything else wholesale. And then the rest of it's just retail that we do.
Yep.
And my retail hasn't shrunk, you know, my retail's grown.
I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not gonna private label because I don't want to ruin my brand, or I dreamed it up and it has to be my label." And I'm like, "You're losing sales. You're losing sales."
That pissed me off because I have such a big audience now. My audience is huge. I have thousands and thousands of people that follow me across all platforms, maybe 25, 30K. And I would love to just wholesale out like bath bombs and bubble bombs and lotions and stuff and just sell them a la carte, like 50, 50 points, 75 points, something like that. Everyone I reach out to tells me, no, we can't take our website off because we actually want to reach our customers by, and I'm like, Move over, you broke ass bitch. I get so peed about it. Don't be that person, because that person is broke. That person is barely getting by. I want you to get by. I want you to buy new things. I want you to have employees. So wholesale in every avenue, in every form. I sound like you from a year ago. Look how quick you've converted me.
I know. This kid is a quick learner. He's doing really well. So
Hi, Grammy. Oh my God, everyone's here. I'm so happy.
That's what I was just going to say. I'd be curious to know what everybody thinks of Fire Talk, and are you happy with the move? And was it easy for you to find us? And how was the sound quality, the video? And love the move. Good.
I love Fire Talk.
And this is all our tribe from our group. There's Carrie and Grammy and yay, Claire and Marissa. And we've had Laura. Yeah, good. The mystery watch. Yay.
With their profile pictures if you go to the viewers page too, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the live chat, so go viewers. Cool.
And so what's I love about this is that we opened this season up with kind of a show that not everyone wants to talk about. So this is kind of not an entry level show.
Right.
So I wanted to see if everyone was going to come over, and I'm glad they all did. And I'm glad everyone likes this platform. I was petrified because I was hosting this one and there's no way to co-host. And so it's for me on my end, as it was coming on, it didn't show anything. And it was 10 o'clock exactly. My screen went black and I'm like, okay. The show's ruined. And it goes, start the show. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll start the show. Okay. I panicked.
So you just push the button. So it was just a black screen when you went on?
I panicked.
I did never panic.
I was like, do I call Becky?
Okay, so what happened at 10 o'clock? It was just a black screen?
At 10 o'clock, it went black because it was loading the button.
Okay, then it said go live, and you push go live, and then I said, okay, I want to join, and you let me on. So next,
but it's great. I think this works out wonderful. We'll have the replay up. Everyone can watch
doing it every week. Yeah.
And don't be scared to share that replay out, but better quality than Blab. Good. Blab kind of screwed us over.
And so, Brandon, this is going to let you record it so you can upload it on our YouTube channel at the eCommerce show.
I hope it recorded. If we're going to see. So are there any questions for the end of this about wholesale, about the ASD show, anything at all? I want to hear more about the ASD show. I'm so upset that I'm not there.
Oh, I brought you a ton of stuff back.
Okay, I guess I'll get by.
You'll be fine. I can tell you all about it. White label,
the viewer limit on this platform.
Packaging.
500.
Yeah, you can get 500 on. That's good. Are these things they want to know more on? We should do a whole show on white label, Brandon.
Yeah, that's a whole show for itself. Season 3, we'll put it in there.
Yeah, we can even have Paul come on the white label one because he's doing a lot of that.
We did a trade show before too about showing and presenting at one. I'll see if I can get the replay on YouTube for everyone until we do another show, because that's something we won't get to till season 3. You know, now we've got a whole season planned out for once. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everyone's going to have to go investigate all the trends and see if there's some way to tie one or more of those trends into your product mix for holiday.
So we're getting some questions.
Oh, she says, what are the pre-qualifications when needs to be accepted at trade shows? You have to have business cards. You have to have tax ID number for your business. You have to have the a check or a credit card in your business name. Show invoices that you have purchased in the business name. If you're a startup, you have to show your business documents and tax ID number, that type of stuff. But once you're in the computer, you can go back again and again and again. They don't make you do the qualifications again. They keep you in the system. Mm-hmm. They like caring about the trends. That's good. How does it differ?
I got new packaging for my products. I'll show off.
I'm not sure, Anne.
Little bags.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do bigger bags, like little sandwich bags. They'll have windows. These ones don't have windows.
Good.
And they do the little fold over and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
they're bigger.
Fun show, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us, and we're excited to be back. So, Brandon,
I'm so glad we're back.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Same place, same time. Although I'll be home instead of in Las Vegas.
Yes, and you can show off your home. So I want everyone to go ahead and join in with us to the Facebook group and subscribe on the website. And next week's show, just so we can sit for the end, we have so much content, awesome stuff in the group, so I can't find the post. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Wow, you guys talk a lot. So next week's show is on August 9th. It's on Tuesday. It's at 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that's 8 o'clock Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So next week, we're talking about trade show success for newbies. So I think we can talk presentation and setting up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's really important. So we will be talking about that next week. Yay!
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big trade shows. It can be events or anything like that. You know, the events they like to go to sell their products or where they could start. So we'll cover all aspects of that. It'll be fun. Don't you think?
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah, thank you
Where
so
can they
much.
find you, Becky?
They can find me at beckyjanderson.com. How about you, Brandon? Where are they going to find you?
Find me at waxcrumbles.com always.
And you can find both of us at the ecommerce.show and in our Facebook group, which Brandon has the link for right there. And we want you to go follow all of us on all platforms and in the e-commerce.
See you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.